I don't do a lot of unboxings, but I wanted to do one for this game because it is just, the components are just so beautiful. I am going to do some type of video treatment of it, conversation about it, maybe some examples of gameplay, not a playthrough because I don't do those, but I'm going to post another video, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of what is in the box because it's totally beautiful to me at least, and worth taking a close look at. This is the box cover, the front cover of the box, and inside we get 4 dice, which are necessary to play the game, at least these or other dice, dice set with 2 different colors because of the way the combat works. And the counters are really, I haven't punched them out yet, obviously, although when I took them out, 1 or 2 fell out. But they look to be so nicely cut that there's not going to be any necessity for doing anything to them. Just beautiful art direction. These are the various clans that are in the game. I'm not really that familiar with the game, but I know that these are various clan symbols. And also, whoops, so we got it upside down. The 3 different scenarios in the game, which we will look at when we see the rules, use different counters. So not all of these counters will be in play in every game, or I should say, in fact, not all of these counters definitely won't be in play. Well, there goes one out. So we'll take a look at what that looks like when it comes out. And good thickness on it. Excellent color. This is the wounded side. There are other markers here that, again, the art direction is just great. So I can't remember what they're called, but basically stepping down, you've got this side full strength, and you place this to indicate 1 step down, and then you go to here, a 3rd step down, and then the back side of these is right before you are out of the game. It is a chit pull mechanism, and these are some of the markers that are used to indicate what is happening. This is a French publication originally, and I looked in some of the rules. There's like, it goes back into French a little bit for some words. I mean, it's been translated into English, but there are still a few little bits of French in the rulebook, and obviously these counters here. And of the rulebook, it's 4-color, glossy, a lot of description. I have been reading the rules. It's pretty much all how far I've gotten, and many examples. Very wordy. Nicely illustrated along the side with the main rules down the middle. It's pretty complicated. I mean, I don't know how it will actually play, but I was trying to read through this combat example, and I really got pretty lost, I must say. The various scenarios, again, different victory conditions. This is for one scenario, the first scenario, second scenario, setup, victory conditions, and the last one. And then the game credits here. Now, well, let's look at the back of the box here. Again, really beautiful. So there are 3 different maps. I will show you part of them, but I'm not going to really be able to open them up without damaging them, and I don't want to do that, obviously. There are 3 different maps, and they're portrayed here really nicely as these fan elements for the 3 different scenarios. And we have, again, you can see sort of French and English together, some of the credits here, and side of the box. We look and see there are a bunch of components. I mean, I guess I'll sort of call them player aids. Now, one of the scenarios has a fortress in it, or a palace, I guess it was a fortress called, and you have this little inset tactical map, which is pretty cool, for the Yamakasi 1582 scenario, with some special rules for playing out the tactical battle. And I really like this element, and you'll see when I show you that map, it corresponds to something on the map that's used for that scenario. And this is a double-sided card with some tables on it, including I mentioned that there's a sort of chit pull mechanism, and there is a way that you can attempt to change the order of your orders, and this is the table that dictates how that is done. And some other tables, that rally table, we were talking about that before with the chits, and various other tables that you need. The CRT itself is here. Really nice piece of art here. And combat modifiers table. So your table's on this double-sided sheet. This, one of the scenarios, the last scenario, the biggest scenario, has a bunch of additional rules, and this is used to track some of the loyalty and betrayal that happens with clan switching sides. And so this is a sheet that is in use only in that scenario. And then we have one sheet that will give the turn order for the 3 different scenarios, because they have different turn orders. And in fact, the first scenario offers you the option of an even shorter scenario, picking up at turn 11. So there's really basically 4 scenarios, because one of them you can start, midway through. And the victory point track, that's blank on the back. And then for each of the 3 scenarios, these beautiful cards that lay out the opposing sides and give you spots to record the orders for the various clans that are in use, and your reserves, and something called the delay track, which has to do with being out of command, basically, and how you measure that. So these cards, one is used depending on which scenario you're in. The battle orders that you record, these are sheets that I'll need to Xerox so that I don't write on them, but you are meant to fill in your the battle plan that you're going to be using, and it explains what they are. I guess there's 2, each of them are 2 pages, so you get 2 complete sets, but that's it. So you'll want to make copies of that. Even these are these are actually printed in 3 color. Actually, they could be 4 color. Really nice print job. Very thin paper, but I believe this is actually 4 color printing on these. And finally, the maps. There are 2 sheets of maps, one of which is double-sided and one of which isn't, for a total of 3 different maps. They're absolutely beautifully rendered. Again, I'm not going to really want to open them up fully with the camera going, because I just don't want to get them damaged. But you can see here the quality of the color is fantastic. I think that might be a little bit difficult. The hex sides are what dictate some of the terrain modifications, and it seems to me some of this could be a little confusing. Not really sure how much that would come into play, but just from an aesthetic point of view, it's quite beautiful, at least to me. And here's part of the other map. This is the 2-sided version of the map, and looking at the back here, I wanted to try to open it up and show you. There's that palace that we saw on the card for the tactical model, and just again pulling back to look a little bit more at the beautiful colors of this map and the depth and the detail, the lush printing. So overall, this to me is a beautiful production quality throughout, and for me as a player, that makes a difference. Of course, if the gameplay is not great, it's not going to make that much of a difference, but I have every reason to think the gameplay in this is going to match the quality of the components, and just wanted to give you a look at them because I found them to be quite pleasing. And at some point in the near-ish future, I'll be posting my actual video discussing the game and playing through parts of it. Thanks for watching.